Black this time. Okay, we're gonna try Queen's Gambit declined here, but we don't get it. Instead, we get cheeky bishop hijinks. So, fine, whatever. Fun. White queen can come out here, obviously. So let's do this. White bishop can come out. We can do some A preventiveness. So far, so chess. Yeah, so just kind of doing things here. Let's see if we can chase the black bishop out of our house. Okay. I mean, that's fine. Okay, so he wants to open his rook up. Whatever. So now where do we want to go? Opens his rook up. We could do knight up. Rook obviously could slide out, no problem. We could just castle here, but I don't think we want to castle kingside anymore. So maybe we bump the queen up and then do a queenside castle instead. Let's try this. So rook can go here. Knight wants to trade. So you can give it to him. It's possible letting him trade was better. So now, of course, our knight's in a little bit of trouble. If we do knight up, the positioning's kind of funny. I kind of want to see what that looks like, actually. Be a lot of pawn weaknesses for both sides. There isn't really an alternative. The knight can't really go anywhere else, unless back. Maybe we do a back retreat, actually. Let's do a back retreat. We could do something like queen here, maybe. This pawn is isolated. Interesting. Okay. Very interesting. Castle long. I mean, this white bishop kind of just lives here now, doesn't he? That's a very interesting move there. So yeah, I think we do queen here. The king moves up because he wants the queen to take the rook after the bishop moves. Okay, so I mean, obviously now we trade here. It's kind of just what you have to do. Yeah, that's fine. So now the queen could do some fun and exciting things, and I'm sure... Oh, hey, Cyberboy, I'm doing alright. How are you? I think we just take the, we take the pawn here. Queen can go down for some fun and excitement. Knight move, alright. So we can just kind of back our queen up a little bit. That's obviously not a problem at all. We slide the queen back. Knight could go here. So maybe we slide the queen here. There's no knight move that's horrifying for us. Let's do that. Queen could go there, maybe. I think next we do knight up, unless he does something. We want to get our knight more involved. I think we basically have to do a queen trade if he offers it. There isn't really much else for our queen to do if he forces it, but then of course he loses out on the queen as well. If he does do the queen trade, pawn takes, I think we have to push this pawn up, because otherwise his knight has some good positions to go to. I'm not surprised he's thinking about this. Interesting. Okay. So we can get our knight more involved. We can also get our bishop more involved. If we push this pawn up, the knight can go here. Or the bishop can go here, pinning on the knight. It also can lead then into a pawn fork situation. Which has its advantages. I think the pawn push here is fine. Worst case, he could do like bishop over, but then we can also do bishop over. Let's do that. His minor pieces in the center are very strong. We really need to get this knight on the board. Knight here could be interesting. I did like knight here earlier, because then he can go there. But I think this push is a strong contender. he pushes, we just take. Well, do we just take, actually? If he pushes, us taking isn't that great, because then just the bishop takes. If we push up, bishop goes back because he sees this coming. If we do this, the knight could go here, maybe. Maybe we push this up, check. That's not horrible, is it? Frees our rook up, forces him to do something. Let's do that. King could go back. King does go back. All right. So this is when we think about getting the rook more involved. Obviously, there's some horrible stuff going on with White's pieces right now. I think we get our knight up here, and then he can start moving around a little bit. Let's do that. Okay. So he doesn't like where our white bishop is. I don't blame him. What happens if we move the white bishop up a square? It's going to get trapped. Because then it can't really go anywhere after that. So having it fall back is probably reasonable. Yeah, let's have it fall back. That's fine. Can go forward again, but then we just move it back. Okay, so he's doing a fun advance here to try to open up his rook file. So the option to counterplay that is we either wait for this pawn to go up one, back our bishop up, and then either take or push. Or we just push right now. I think we're fine backing the white bishop up one more square, perhaps. Alternatively, let's slide the rook all the way over. This does weaken our center a little bit, but we've got this, which he sees. So now we can do black bishop back. I think. Black bishop back can lead to a pin on the knight. Then we can start doing that sort of stuff. Let's do this. Maybe if he pushes this up, taking is actually the best option then. Takes. Bishop check again. This time he has to go there. I don't know about that. These pawns are obnoxious. I think maybe what we do next is we do black bishop here, and then maybe rook here. Because if we have the bishop here, his knight can't take that because it's pinned. Really the only square the king can go to is here now. It'd be really nice to find a way to mess that up. But pawn up doesn't do it because he's got so many attacks on it. Queen up one is interesting. He doesn't want the triple pin, which he does see coming. So I think we do the bishop. The interesting thing about this, though, is that now if the king moves, the rook can come down. I think his best move would be king here, because then the knight can go there to block it. At which point, I think we just trade. Yeah. I mean, it's possible he's just good, but I'd almost swear he's using an engine at this point. That move wasn't the engine move. So now we get the rook, and possibly more. Alright, so do we take or do we try to set up mate? I think we try to set up mate in one here. I'm pretty sure his only move is like bishop here. This should be mate, right? Fantastic. Alright. I like that game. That was a very clean game. He did some interesting things. Let's pop out the analysis board here. We also didn't run out of time. You can't see it here, but I had 152 left. Okay, so apparently, he did 3 blunders and I did 1. Okay, so that's pretty good. So it did not like me doing that. That makes sense. Generally in these situations, they want you to push up the c-pawn first, so that then if they take, that pawn's gonna hang for the rest of its life and we can pick it up later. See similar things in the Karl Khan, things of that nature. Alright, so One inaccuracy. Two. What's the next thing it didn't like? It thought g5 was a blunder. That's interesting. I mean, I guess it's a blunder because it's a waste of time. Because the knight can go there and then we have to run back to where we were. I can see that. So it wanted h6 because that... I don't know about h6. Let's see this. c2, check. Surprised queen takes isn't the play there. Maybe it's to get another check. Interesting. Very interesting. Alright. I do like this side attack, but we did something similar with the bishop later. So that was our only blunder, was moving the queen here. And it was only a blunder because it was a waste of a move. Yeah, the knight protecting that pawn was definitely a good move. Would have been a good move on his part. Maybe that's what we should have done. Maybe... No, I don't know. It's hard to say. Obviously, it all worked out. Let's see some other things I didn't like about this. Did not like f6. It wanted d6 instead. Where were we before this? Okay, so it wanted d6, but we went f6. d1 is considered a blunder. Because, and again, it wanted this, right? This is what we were looking at earlier. So we have... Interesting. We willingly retreat the queen to offer the trade so that we can develop more and he has weaker side pawns. Okay, I can see that. So, takes, c4, rook h8, setting up that h8 fun. f6. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, this is what I was saying earlier, too, is that this move was the one that white really should have done. Here specifically. Alright. Ooh, we missed a forced checkmate sequence. Okay. This is important. So, queen f3, bishop h7. That's interesting. Rook takes, queen c2, rook h1 is checkmate. Alright. So what if instead, hang on. So we take f3. Yeah, he really had no way out of that, did he? I can't believe we missed that. I mean, obviously we were so hungry for the rook. Because, I mean, like, yeah, he really has, there's nothing he can do here. Queen over. This is still mate, because it's the rook attacking the king. He doesn't have enough time to get all his pieces out of the way. I knew this move was good. And, I mean, obviously we won 2 moves later. But he also had ways around it, right? Let's look at that. So we get the rook, and we were setting up mate in 2 here. So the best things that he could have done in this situation, he could have pushed this pawn, which then would have opened up his queen to protect that that square. They also wanted bishop d1, which is what I was expecting him to do, because bishop d1 stops the rook. But then we get this. Not sure what queen h7 is supposed to do. Oh. It's volunteering a trade. And now we have rook knight versus bishop. And so... yeah. And then the game kind of writes itself. Alright, so that was something. That worked out well for us. Let's do another one.